The Alexander Technique is a practical method for teaching improved posture and movements in order to correct problems developed due to bad physical habits. It was developed over 100 years ago by actor Frederick Matthias Alexander. He credited the system with alleviating breathing difficulties and hoarseness he experienced during public speaking, allowing him to develop and pursue his passion for acting. Today, whilst there is some limited evidence that it may be beneficial for back pain and Parkinson's disease, it remains as popular as ever, and not just with actors. I met with Alexander Technique teacher Sarah Warman, who told me how the method had helped her treat her RSI and crippling pain, and in doing so had changed her life and her career.
I developed a really, really bad case of repetitive strain injury, and I woke up one morning and I couldn't move my left arm. And slowly it's kind of spread down my right arm, my neck, and at that point I was either going to sit in a room and be in pain, or I was going to start to explore ways of getting myself out of pain. I actually had to stop working at that point because I couldn't work. And I had some Alexander Technique lessons every single day for a month. And it was just amazing, and I started to learn how to move and how to think in a different way. And actually, so I began my training, not because I wanted to be an Alexander Technique teacher, but just because it felt really good and I didn't want to just be in pain forever. And so I started the training, and within a year then I kind of fell in love with it. Actually, I think my first introduction to Alexander Technique was through my dad, because he was told he needed a major back operation or he could try Alexander Technique. So, and he's not at all into anything alternative, but so he tried Alexander Technique and it saved him from needing an operation. So he was always pushing me in the direction of Alexander Technique. And so that's why I started to try lessons. And yeah, so when I started it, I wasn't expecting to be a teacher. I just wanted that input every single day. And the training is, you just work, well, for the first couple of terms, it's people just working on you for like 4 hours a day. And then after a couple of terms, then you start being trained on how to work on people. And that's when it really shifts, actually. And then I started to realise absolute complete beauty of the work. And so many mental as well as physical shifts. And when I look back now to why I had all that pain, it's because I was in a job that actually I wasn't that happy in. And in the past, I could kind of ignore my emotions of not being happy in that job because I felt there was no alternative other than to get on with the job. But when my body was physically breaking down, then you can't avoid it, which is why a lot of people come to Alexander Technique when they're in a lot of pain.
What could somebody expect at their first session?
If you come to a private session, they're different than workshops, and it's a hands-on techniques, and so I guide people in movement with my hands, and then also using words, and we work a little bit on a massage table kind of thing, and then we also do a lot of movement, standing, sitting, and then as you progress you can apply it to any activity. So it could be like a sport, or it could be pregnancy and birth, or it could be being able to open to intimacy and have emotional conversations and be able to kind of get out of the stress. So I work with all of those aspects and really tailor them to the person that's in front of me at the time in the lesson. Essentially what we're doing in Alexander Technique is we're building our awareness of our reactions to different stimuli. So that stimuli could be having to lift something heavy up, it could be sitting at a desk, it could be having an emotional conversation, and so our reactions will be mental as well as physical. When you're stressed in your head, you're going to have that stress in your body. So when someone first comes in, it's very useful to work on the table, which is like a massage table, because it just lowers down the level of stimulus. So it's just much, much easier to be less reactive. So you're aware of the table beneath you, supporting you, and I guide you in your thinking, opening your mind to a different kind of presence, a kind of, which I call embodied mindfulness. So bringing your awareness to the whole of the room and the whole of your body, so you're not just lost in the stress of your thought. And when you're in this experience of being in the whole of your body and the whole of the space around you, then your body starts to open up, and then that's when you begin to learn. That's when the magic happens and you can come out of pain.
How many sessions might somebody need? Is that something that you would discuss at the first session, or do you find that certain problems might need a different number of sessions?
Yeah, I mean, it really is unique to different people, how they feel. From my experience, some students come for 1 or 2 lessons and they get what they need from that, and others might come for many months, others still for many years. Or you might have a set of lessons and then stop for 10, 15, 20 years and then want another little top-up. But the things to remember is that they are lessons. So it's kind of like, learning piano or something like that. It's not... It can be different for different people. Some people will need more lessons than others, and some will want to take it further than others. Some people love it so much that they come for lessons forever. Of course, you don't have to. Some people get enough what they need just from one. And yeah, from that one lesson, you will get insight, and you can't undo insight that you've learned. So that will stay with you forever.
Could you explain a bit more about that, the thinking behind it, that you're a teacher and they're a pupil? Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is that, it is therapeutic, so you still come away with it from it feeling really good. But rather than kind of like, if you twisted your ankle and you went to see a physiotherapist, they'd do something to you and then you'd feel better. If you go away, then you're repeating the same habits of holding in your body or of moving, then the pain or the injury will come back. So in Alexander Technique, we're really encouraging self-responsibility. So it's really empowering that actually you're learning all the time how to move in a different way, and you're building new connections. And actually, when I put my hands on you when we're working together, effectively my nervous system is speaking to your nervous system and so my hands will guide you so that you move in a different way, but actually also to make you aware of where you're holding that you don't need to, and to unlearn these habits of a lifetime that you've built up that are causing you stress and tension, mentally and physically. And when you get out of your own way, that's when the universe can flow through you. That's when you're much more in flow with life, and life becomes easier. You have clarity in your mind, you feel more grounded, and you're in less pain.
Sometimes when someone comes to see you, when might you say, actually, I might be able to help, but you should see your GP first, or this might be something a bit more serious than you could see me for?
In my personal opinion, Alexander Technique can support. I've not come across a situation where it can't be supportive, because it can be so gentle, and I meet my client wherever they're at, so whatever situation they come to me with. However, I would recommend that any pain condition be explored or investigated if they feel to by a doctor. But that doesn't mean that they have to have any necessarily medical intervention. But the two things can run alongside. But I've worked with a whole range of different conditions. And personally with my parents, my dad, when he was in hospital and had just diagnosed with cancer, and my mum when she just had a hip operation. So you can work really minimally. You just work with what you have, and you can see complete miraculous transformations just meeting that person where they are. And that's the whole point, is that it's not about pushing and trying to change. It's about undoing all the stuff you're already doing to yourself. So you're letting go and just allowing the natural good juice to just shine through, and you're coming back to the sense of freedom and lightness that you had as a child, but with a greater awareness of insight.
Do you find that when you tell people you're an Alexander teacher, though, that people suddenly feel they have to sit straight?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Alexander's Technique is known for kind of having good posture, and that is an amazing byproduct of Alexander Technique, is that you get amazing posture. But actually, it's not about sitting up straight, because if you're a person that slumps, it's about letting go of pulling down, and then you naturally come back to poise. Or if you're a person that's pushing back, it's letting go of pushing back, and you naturally come back to the centre and you're poised.
What have you found most fulfilling so far about being an Alexander teacher?
I love every aspect of it. And there's big differences that you can notice, but there's also small and minute ones that can be so massive at the same time. When you have a client and just in one lesson, you say something or you do something that just opens their perception, and there's just seems like a small shift, but it can be massive. And it's just amazing when you see someone getting it and it working, the magic. And quite often is common for people to have quite big changes in their life once they start Alexander Technique, because you get this clarity, you stop self-sabotaging, you get out of your own way, and then you have clarity in what you want in life. And quite a lot of clients then go on to make massive, really positive changes.
If someone's looking for an Alexander Technique teacher, no matter where they are, how can they be sure that they're getting a properly trained, properly qualified and properly insured teacher? In short, how do they know that the teacher knows what they're doing and that they're safe?
There's quite a lot of different bodies across the whole world, and even in the UK. The main one is the one that I trained with, and it's called STAT, which is the Society of Teachers for the Alexander Technique. And actually on their website they'll have a whole list of, so you can search for your area and you can find an Alexander Technique teacher. But really fundamentally, with finding your teacher, I think, although it can be useful to have someone really nearby you, for me, it's really important to find somebody that you really resonate with, and that's the most important thing. So if you find somebody that really speaks to you, the only way you can really find that out is by coming for a lesson and seeing how chemistry works between you, how it works, and giving it a go. And then, of course, it's your choice to either go somewhere else or to sign up for more lessons.
Fantastic. Sarah, it's been absolutely inspiring to listen to you, and I hope you've inspired somebody listening to maybe try Alexander Technique. Where can they find out more about you?
Well, I have a website.
And please do let us know the address.
Yes. So my website is www.sarahs, S-A-R-A-H-S, Alexander studio.com, and on there you can sign up for my newsletter. If you sign up for my newsletter, then you get my blog, which covers loads of interesting subjects, as well as some free advice and special offers. And actually, at the moment, if you sign up for the newsletter, I'm offering free phone consultation.
Okay, so that's the offer for the moment. So if you go to the website now, that's where that should be up there. But people can get in touch with you and as you say, email you questions and so on. Yeah,
if you have any questions whatsoever, just drop me a line and I'm more than happy to speak to you.
Sarah, thank you very much for coming in and telling us all about the Alexander Technique.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's been wonderful to meet you.